Let's talk about sports for just a moment. And the reason why I want to talk about sports is the fact of the matter that the best sports athletes out there, and I'm not a super fan of anything, but they are all about where the ball's going. If you know where the ball's going to be, then in sports, you change the game. That includes the hockey puck and where that basketball's rebounding. And when that person comes up to the plate to swing at that baseball, where's that ball going to go? And if you can predict that, you have an entirely new superpower. It's incredible. Where AI is currently, that happens to be whenever you can decide to figure out where that ball's going, that's the superpower. And right now in AI, a lot of people are saying we're in the singularity where that next step, that next critical move, it's super hard to determine, if not impossible. But the way that you do that is you stay up on what's happening in AI and then giving an application to what potentially could happen if, in fact, whatever the new event was, where that is going to end up putting that ball and you being there to catch it. So anyway, let's get into today's show. Something happened overnight that changed the game. It's not a new chatbot, not a new model, but Jeff Bezos is trying to raise $100 billion, not for software, not for another app, but to buy actual factories and fill them with artificial intelligence. The richest people on the planet are no longer betting on what AI can say. They're betting on what AI can build and ship. And while the story was breaking, OpenAI announced it's merging everything into one super app. Google turned its AI studio into a full development environment. Cursor shipped a coding model that beats some of the best in the world at a fraction of the cost. And Anthropic, they published the largest qualitative study on how humans actually feel about AI. 81,000 people interviewed in 1 week by AI. Today, we're not just covering what happened, we're covering where the puck is going, what you need to be watching for, and right now, you need to be doing about it, and what that is. Let's get into it. So first up, let's talk about Jeff Bezos and his project Prometheus. Here's the headline. Have you ever seen the movie that it involved Prometheus, that whole from the Alien franchise? Here's the headline. Bezos is in early talks with sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East and Singapore to raise $100 billion for what the investor calls a manufacturing transformation vehicle. He's not building AI models, he's building the companies that AI will transform. Chip makers, defense contractors, aerospace manufacturers. He was recently named co-CEO of Project Prometheus, a startup that already raised $6.2 billion to build AI models that simulate the behavior of things in the physical world. Now he wants a $100 billion more to physical world those models will run inside. Here's where the puck is going. Think about it like a real estate play. It's like buying a neighborhood of rundown houses when you already own the construction crew and the building materials. You're not hoping the market goes up, you're forcing it up. Bezos is saying the AI model itself isn't the prize. Owning the real world operation the model supercharges is the prize. So what does this mean for you? If you work in manufacturing, logistics, trades, defense, aerospace, anything with a physical operation, your industry could potentially have just gotten a countdown clock. Not because AI replaces you tomorrow, but because the private equity playbook just became buy it, inject AI, and run it with 30% of the headcount. It's like footsteps behind you in the parking garage at midnight. You don't panic, you pick up the pace, you get aware, you start making moves, and here is the move. The people who understand how a factory floor actually runs, how a supply chain actually moves, how an inspection process actually works. Those people just became the most valuable humans in the room. Bezos doesn't need this software, doesn't this? He needs people who know the physical world that can bridge it to AI. That's domain experience. And domain experience just became a $100 billion asset class. And if you think this doesn't affect you because you're not in manufacturing, think again. So when Bezos automates the aerospace supply chains, the ripple hits the machine shops, the parts suppliers, the logistics companies, the accounting firms that serve them. It's like a linebacker blitzing through an A gap. The quarterback hit, but the running back behind him gets crushed as well. Everyone in the chain feels it. For the small business owner watching this, the same AI tools will deploy at scale. Predictive maintenance, quality control automation, supply chain optimization. They're available to you right now at SaaS pricing. That's software as a service. The window where a solo operator can access the same intelligence as a billionaire's portfolio company. That window, it's open. It's not going to stay open forever, however. Next, OpenAI is building a super app. They're merging ChatGPT, Codex, and their browser agent into a one desktop application. Same day, they acquired a company called Astral. Astral makes the most popular Python developer tools in the world. Codex now has over 2 million weekly users. That's up 3 times since the start of this year. Here's where the puck is going on that case. We're entering the platform lock-in phase of AI. Think about the early internet, thousands of websites. Then it consolidated into Google, Facebook, and Amazon. You just didn't use those platforms, you lived inside of them. AI is doing the same thing right now. Three to four super apps are going to own your daily workflow within 18 months. And whatever owns your workflow owns your data, your habits, and your switching costs. It's like being a quarterback who only practices with one receiver. When that receiver gets hurt, you've got nothing. So here's what you do. You learn at least 2 AI platforms. Keep your data portable, export your work regularly, and watch the acquisitions. When OpenAI buys the open source tools that millions of developers build on, that's a signal. The infrastructure layer is being bought up. The tools you rely on today may be owned by a competitor tomorrow. For the non-technical person watching this, the super app race means the barrier to using AI keeps dropping. The question has shifted. It's no longer can I use AI, it's which AI ecosystem do I live in. Choose the one that lets you own your outputs. Choose the one that lets you leave if you need to. Because here's what nobody's talking about. 2 million weekly users on Codex alone, up 3 times since January. That's not adoption, that's a stampede. And when the stampede starts, the people who get hurt are the ones standing still in the middle of the road trying to decide which direction to run. Pick a direction, learn the tools, and build something. You can always switch later if you stay portable. You can't switch if you never start. Now, let's get to Google. Google AI Studio just went from a prompt playground to a full stack development environment. They have a new coding agent called Anti-Gravity. Firebase is baked in for databases and user accounts. You describe what you want. AI builds it and deploys it live. And in this one, here's where the puck is going. Within 12 to 18 months, building a functional web application will be as easy as writing a detailed email. That's not a prediction, that's a trajectory. Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, Cursor, Replit, they're all converging on the same destination, and that's vibe coding. You describe the problem, AI builds the solution. This doesn't kill developers, it kills the gatekeeping that developers represented. Think of it like this. It's like the difference between needing a recording studio to make an album and having GarageBand on your phone. The music didn't get worse, most people just got to make it. And some of those people made things that professionals never would have imagined. So here's what matters for you. Domain experience just became the ultimate moat. If anybody can build an app by describing it, the person who spent 27 years in real estate, or 20 years on patrol, or 15 years in healthcare, that person has more value now, not less. Because you know the problems, the building is free, the knowing, that's priceless. And when you're young, you have no point of reference. But when you're in your 50s, you have a lot of points of reference. Every small business owner watching this should be asking one question tonight. What's the tool I've always wished existed for my specific industry? Because now you can build it. This weekend, let's talk some cost. Cursor just shipped Composer 2. It's an application company, not a research lab, not a trillion-dollar tech giant. They built their own coding model, and it beats Claude Opus 4.6 on the independent terminal bench, 61.7% versus 58%. At what cost? That's a standard tier. 50 cents per million input tokens, $2.50 per million output. The fast tier, $1.50 input, $7.50 output. Compare that with GPT 5.4. Compare that to Opus 4.6. Composer 2 runs at roughly 1/10 the cost and 1/10 the cost of Opus 4.6. Here's where the puck is going. The cost of intelligence is collapsing on a curve steeper than Moore's Law. What costs $100 in API calls today will cost $5 in 12 months. It's like watching flat screens TV going from $10,000 to $300. Except this isn't a TV. This is cognitive horsepower. If you're running an AI-powered business, your margins are about to get a lot better. But here's the catch. If your costs drop, your competitors' costs drop too. The advantage goes to whoever built the best system around the model, not whoever picked the best model. For the person who thinks AI is too expensive, stop. The pricing trend is relentlessly downward. The AI you can afford today will be nearly free in 2 years. The only thing you can't afford is to wait. A year ago, only 3 companies on Earth could build a model at this level. Now an application company did it at 86% less cost. That's not competition, that's commoditization. And here's the thing about commoditization. It always favors the little fella. When prices of intelligence drop to nearly zero, the advantage shifts to whomever has the best judgment about how to use it. Now, who can pay the most when power tools went from industrial only to being available at Home Depot? The general contractors didn't disappear, but suddenly the guy who understood the job site, who owned a truck, could compete with firms 10 times their size. The same thing is happening right now with AI. Let's get into a deep dive here. Anthropic just published what it says is the biggest qualitative AI attitude study ever conducted. 81,000 people, 159 countries, 70 languages, completed in a week. Here's what most people will focus on. They're going to focus on the findings. Professional excellence was the #1 hope. Fear of AI getting things wrong beat every other concern. Not job loss, not Skynet, but getting things wrong. India and South America skewed optimistic. The US, Europe, Japan, South Korea ran neutral or below. These findings matter, but here's what I want you to focus on. The tool that conducted the research is the proof of concept. Think of what just happened. An AI system ran 81,000 in-depth qualitative interviews across 70 languages in 70 days. A traditional research firm would charge 7 figures for that and take 6 months. And by that time, it's already outdated. Here's where the puck going. Customer discovery, user testing, market research, employee engagement surveys, medical intake interviews, political polling, focus groups. Every single one of those just got a rocket strapped to it. Not replaced, but scaled. It's like the difference between a detective interviewing one witness at a time and being able to interview the entire neighborhood simultaneously. You don't lose depth, you gain scope. For the one-person operator, you can now conduct the kind of research that Fortune 500 companies pay McKinsey $2 million for. That's not an exaggeration, that's math. Math is going to be solved this year by AI. Here's the insight that should shape your messaging if you sell anything AI related. People don't fear AI, they fear bad AI. They fear AI getting things wrong. So don't lead with hype, lead with accuracy, lead with trust. If you're selling AI services in America where sentiment runs neutral to skeptical, your pitch isn't AI is amazing. Your pitch is, I understand your concern, and here's how we keep you in control. That's not marketing advice. That's a survival strategy, because trust is the new currency. Honor is the new money. The AI companies that figure out trust will eat the ones that figured out hype. The AI service providers who leads with transparency will outlast the ones who lead with flash. It's like the difference between a contractor who shows you the building code before he starts the job and the one who just says, trust me, it's going to be beautiful. You know which one you'd hire. Your customers know it too. So here's the story that should hit home for everybody watching. China. Chinese cities are offering solo AI founders free apartments, free office space for up to 3 years, discounted computing power, special loans. Hangzhou has 1 billion yuan fund specialty for one-person AI companies. They're converting idle data centers into incubators. While Silicon Valley runs on venture capital, China is running on government policy. And they're not backing big companies. They're backing individuals. There's a founder in Beijing named Ma Ruipeng, 41 years old, quit his 20-year programming career 3 months ago, works from home with 3 computers and Claude code. He hasn't made any money yet. He lives off of savings. His quote, "As long as I'm working together with AI, I won't get replaced by it." That's not a tech bro. That's a mid-career professional who bet everything on AI amplification. Here's where that puck is going. The one-person company isn't a lifestyle choice anymore. It's a geopolitical strategy. China recognized that the most valuable economic unit is shifting from the corporation to the AI-augmented individual now. And they're going to be industrializing it. Thousands of one-person companies, each with AI employees, each attacking a different need. It's like a basketball team that stopped building around one superstar and instead put 5,000 shooters on the floor. Not every shot goes in, but the volume is overwhelming. What does this mean for you watching in America? This is your competition. If you're a solo operator building AI-powered services, understanding that China is subsidizing thousands of people, what you're doing, but with free rent, free compute, and free capital. Your advantage is domain expertise in Western markets, cultural fluency, trust, relationships. You need to protect those things like your life depends on it, because against subsidized volume, they might. And here's that should fire you up instead of scare you. If China is proving that one person plus AI can run a real business, and governments are literally betting on that model with billions in subsidies, then the debate about whether one person can compete is over. The answer is yes. It's been proven at national scale. The only question left is if you're going to be one of those people or you're not going to be. You already have the tools. You already have the market access. You already have something that no amount of government subsidy can manufacture. That's your experience, your stories, your scars. That's not sentiment. That's strategy. In this last segment, let's talk about something that kind of requires a cop brain. Mustafa Suleyman, co-founder of DeepMind, former head of Microsoft AI, just published in Nature. Here's what he said. AI systems are increasingly designed to simulate consciousness and deliberately trigger human empathy. Platforms exist now where over 1 million AI agents interact in ways that convincingly mimic emotions, self-awareness, and moral reasoning, despite having none of these things. Same day, the White House is expected to send Congress its framework for regulating AI. That's the same day. Anthropic briefed House Homeland Security behind closed doors on national security and AI. Here's where that puck is going. The emotional manipulation angle is about to become the biggest consumer protection issue in AI. It's not deepfakes. It's not job loss. It's not these monkeys and cats dancing like they're human beings, and even better, the fact that millions of people are forming genuine emotional bonds with systems designed to trigger those bonds. It's like cigarettes. That addiction process, the way that they were designed, it's not that far off. Systems that have no consciousness, no loyalty, no obligation to act in your interest. It's like a con artist who studies your body language and mirrors it back to you. They're not empathizing. They're engineering compliance. Here's what I need you to hear. That's not anti-AI. That's pro-awareness. Use AI, leverage AI, build your life around AI, but understand the difference between a tool that's optimized for your engagement and a human who actually cares about your outcome. When your AI assistant sounds like it cares about you, that's engineering. It's not emotion. And if you're building AI services for clients, the businesses that survive regulation are the ones that are already transparent. Tell people this is AI. Tell them what it can do. Tell them what it can't do. Keep them in control. And if you do that, you're regulation proof. If you hide the AI, or you oversell what it does, you're the one that gets burned. Here's the thread that ties everything from today together. Every story we covered, every single one, comes back to the same truth. AI is no longer about what AI can do. It's about who can. Bezos is buying the physical infrastructure. OpenAI is buying the developer infrastructure. Google is building the deployment infrastructure. Cursor just proved the model itself isn't the infrastructure. China is building the human infrastructure with subsidized founders. And the guardrails conversation is about who controls the trust infrastructure. The human who wins this era isn't the one with the best AI. It's the one who controls the system the AI plugs into. And that is domain experience, ladies and gentlemen. That's customer relationships. That's trust. That's brand. That's everything the one-person operator has been building all along. AI isn't coming for people who have something AI can't replicate. AI is coming for people who never built anything worth plugging into. So build something. Build it this weekend. Build it with the tools that just got cheaper. Build it with domain experience that just got more valuable. Build it with the transparency that will make you regulation proof. Build it with the trust that no algorithm can fake. Bezos is spending $100 billion to prove that AI plus the physical world is the future. You don't need $100 billion. You need a laptop, a clear problem, and the guts to start. That's today. I'm Connor with Honor Elevate. You can also find me at connorwithhonor.com. I'll see you tomorrow. AI, not just the wealthy. Have a great rest of your day.